Hello. Today is Sunday, or this is a Sunday School outline for September 12th, 2021, Proper 19. I'm titling today's lesson, The Passage That Is Not My Favorite. Believe it or not, there's probably more than one that aren't my favorite. Anyway, the lectionary readings for today are Psalm 19, Proverbs 1, 20 through 33, Psalm 116, 1 through 9, Isaiah 50, 4 through 9, Mark 8, 27 through 38, and James 3, 1 through 12. So here's what I don't like about today's reading. Verse 26, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. 27. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you. So what's this about God being love and taking care of us, like a hen watches her chicks and a mother her child? And it's in the same Bible as I will laugh at your calamity. Well, there's a couple of things. First, this isn't God talking. It's an allegorical figure of wisdom, an aspect of God, but not God. It would be kind of like saying the camera really does steal someone's soul every time it takes a picture. It would be kind of like saying that, to say that wisdom is God. So a picture is like you're seeing a video of me. That's not me. So what is an allegorical figure? Well, it's any time when a person takes a concept, usually something that people agree about pretty much, and talk about it as if it were a human being. The Pilgrim's Progress is one of the best known allegories in the English language. And in it, let me refresh this. I had more to say about that. In it, Christian meets faith and diffidence. The book of Revelations has multiple short allegorical passages, ladies flying around in the sky and horns that talk all by themselves. One difference between that and the Pilgrim's Progress is that the book of Revelations is apocryphal. That's fancy speak for, if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. Which, means really, I'm confused too, but I won't admit it. Now, one of the earliest allegorical passages in the Bible is in Genesis 4:7. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lies at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Go look that up in context. Genesis 4:7. So you see, the Bible has allegories from Genesis to Revelations. That's the entire length of the Bible. Literalists can find this quite confusing, but then the world around me is confusing too. So the second point that I don't really like is that the Bible contains lots of references to people getting what they deserve. Well, here's one of the most famous. Matthew 7:1. Judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again. So, if you get something measured to you, maybe you deserve it. Well, and I've already said a lot of words already. And so let's get to the lesson. It's amazing how long these get in such a short time. So I'm going to read Proverbs 1, 20 through 33. Not one of my favorite passages, but let's read it anyway. It's good to go through the stuff you don't really like a whole lot. So, wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. I like that passage where wisdom is at the beginning with God and the foundation of God. And we think of it as a personification of Christ, maybe, right? But this is different. Wisdom cries without. She utters her voice in the streets. Now, wisdom is not knowledge, but the ability to know, to use knowledge, and also manage to do the right thing at the same time. A wise person when getting what they want, satisfies the needs of competitors too. So they get to keep it, so that once they have what they want, they won't lose it, because their competitors won't take it away from them again. So a wise person knows how to keep what they get. Wisdom is also a pattern of life. It's a habit. It is seldom a one-time thing. It's a usual practice, kind of like faith. It's kind of like a muscle. She cries in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she utters her words, saying, "How long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and the fools hate knowledge." Now, she's not talking about don't be a shaker. Don't go around singing it's the gift to be simple. That's not what she's saying. Simplicity used here in this translation, and at the time when this translation was done, meant ignorance. It meant willful ignorance, actually. The world now is full of evidence that people don't make decisions on evidence, but on something else. That's willful ignorance, and that's another application of the word simplicity. Now, I would tend to use another word, but the Bible is much better than I am. "Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you." This says basically that hard knocks are supposed to teach us something. One of our problems with this is when we see others getting those hard knocks, we tend to assume they deserve them. Well, they might not. The Bible also is full of passages that talk about people suffering for no good reason at all. "Because I have called, and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no one regarded. But ye have set at naught my counsel, and would none of my reproof." Nobody wants to hear wisdom. "I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear comes, when your faith comes as desolation, and your destruction comes as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish comes upon you." When a person is in crisis, it is usually not a good time for reflection, no matter what the situation. This verse is used the example of a tornado. When your house is getting knocked down around your ears is not the time to ask, where should I buy the best hammers and the best nails? That's not the time. It's too late. "Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. Too late. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me." Now, this getting up early, early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise, as Ben Franklin might have said that. This getting up early to seek wisdom is a picture of a true sage, but the person fresh from a lesson in the school of the hard knocks just might not be a good student yet. You got to rest up. "For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord." The question is not whether the person has had a lesson, but if they are wiser. "They would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices." Now, look up Matthew 7:20 in this context. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them." Basically, things happen to you, yes, but it's what you do to yourself and to others that tell the world who you are. "For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil." So, there's one of the thousands of the promises in the Bible. Test it out. Note, it doesn't say your earthly life will be nothing but deliriously joyful. It says you can feel safe and don't need to be afraid. Now, I have a hard time with that because just before I did this lesson, I was reading about some of the martyrs and saints of the 20th century. Actually, I was researching for this lesson and got sidetracked. Imagine that, me getting sidetracked. But even though each one of those martyrs suffered, it seems they might have suffered without fear, or they suffered willingly. And so personally, I'd rather not suffer. I don't like suffering. It's no fun. I am not a wise person, nor have I an exorbitant amount of faith. I have about the same amount of wisdom and faith that God seems to give to most of us. Now, I have gone through some dark and miserable times in my past, but God has always felt close to me during those times. I don't know what I'd do without that feeling of closeness. I've had it once or twice. I wasn't particularly suffering. I just didn't feel close to God, and I didn't like it. I have also made my share of mistakes, and God has still seen fit to do good to me. But it's not by my own wisdom. So if I feel that wisdom is mocking me, I guess I need to get my stuff together. I need to get things settled enough so that I can think and figure out how to get some wisdom. I went through and respelled that several times, and apparently I still can't spell it. Some, S-O-M-E, wisdom. So that's it for today's lesson. I think it's quite long enough already. So you have a good week. Try to be wise. Remember to listen to wisdom. If you do screw up, get back on, cowboy up, get back on to whatever wagon you're supposed to be on, and stay off the wagons you're supposed to stay off of. And that's it for today. Have a good week. God bless you, and bye.